Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is Oscar. One of the topics I would like to talk about is what you can see here at the top of my Word document: the ownership, reinterpretation, and the claim to the Christian God. What are we talking about here? Okay, so let's read together. Okay, throughout history, the issue of ownership, whether over ideas, stories, or sacred text, has often been contentious. Right? If someone creates a work, they are generally regarded as its rightful owner, correct? Someone creates a painting, that's the painter, like many religious people say. Right? There's a designer, okay, which is fine. But if others reinterpret or rebrand it without consent, it raises serious concerns or questions of the integrity and respect through the previous owner or author. I think we should agree on that, okay? Now, this principle is at the heart of the tension between Judaism and Christianity regarding sacred texts like the Hebrew Bible. And this is my important, and its reinterpretation into the Christian Old Testament. I have done a video of it previously, but not in this detail. Okay, so what am I talking here? The principle of ownership. The idea of ownership rests on precedence and originality. When sacred texts or stories are created, their origins define the purpose and meaning, correct? So if somebody first creates something and tells about it, it should be seen from their point of view. Any reinterpretation or appropriation, however sincere, does not in any shape, way or form override the original creation or its contents. Do you feel what I'm getting at here? Take, and I just researched this, take the book of Genesis, for example. The Jewish creation story, which I don't believe it, but it is their story, which is part of the Hebrew Bible, serves a deeply Jewish purpose, correct? It frames a covenantal relationship between God, or their God, and the Jewish people. Okay, so this foundational text, filled with unique culture, theological, and historical significance, belongs to Judaism or to the Jews. When Christianity later adopted Genesis as part of its Old Testament, Septuagint, and reframe it within a Christ-centric narrative, basically they twisted it, right? It blurred the lines of ownership. While Christians may claim the story as part of their theological heritage, it does not change its Jewish origin. My apologies. Okay, so Christianity, reinterpretation, borrowing without acknowledgement, and I put this plagiarism, right? So if you borrow something that is identical to the original, it's definitely, by definition, plagiarism. Christianity, emerging from the Jewish roots, adopted the Hebrew Bible and reinterpreted it to fit its theology. This rebranding, shaping up, often included stripping the text of the original Jewish meaning to support Christian claims or Christian BS. Terms like the Christian God and the Old Testament, like if that has got any Christian meaning, right? Exemplifies this, obviously, right? These phrases imply a complete redefinition of what was inherently Jewish. Oh yeah. Creating a theological contradiction. So which ones are they? Right? For example, the nature of God. Okay, I'm not saying that God exists. I'm saying what the Jewish people thought at that time what God was. Judaism and Christianity fundamentally disagree on the nature of God. In Judaism, God is a singular, one God, indivisible, so it's not in parts. or persons, if you get what I'm getting at. Yeah, indivisible entity bound to the Jewish people through an eternal covenant. So between me, God, you, the Jewish people. Basically, that's what it's saying. Christianity's Trinitarian view and its deification of Jesus contradict Jewish monotheism. Now, you see, there's another thing here, is some Christian says, no, we are monotheistic, but we have three gods. Square that one up. Okay, basically a Trinity. Creating two incompatible definitions of the same deity. Correct. Another topic, basically from the Genesis account, the creation narrative. Some Christians interpreted Genesis to align with modern science, right, which is called an old Earth creationist, while others insist on a strict literal interpretation, right, a young Earth, right. These internal contradictions reveal how reinterpretation often bends sacred text to fit ideological agendas. Old age, new age, or young earth, right? Undermining the consistency and that Judaism maintains. Yeah, right? The Tanakh says one God, that's it. No, Christian says, oh, no. The Son is not God. The Son is the Son. But in Trinity, it says, no, Son is God and the Father is God, but it's the same God. See, it's stupid. Yeah, or basically here what I'm saying, Unitarianism. Unitarian Christians, in the attempt to reconcile inconsistencies, lean heavily on the singular nature of God. 1. Aligning somewhat with the Jewish theology. However, even this attempt at a coherence cannot mask the underlying inconsistency of borrowing, magic word, borrowing Jewish principles while maintaining a separate Christian identity. Oh, so true. Yeah? Now, that's another topic. The apologetics industry and the harm of distortion. Yeah? Modern Christians apologists, particularly those influenced by presuppositional approaches like Van Til, often defend the reinterpretation through confrontational, rhetorical, and logical wordplay and word salad, for that matter. These tactics aim to validate Christianity's theological claims while dismissing other perspectives. Right? So basically, we cannot think outside precepts, but because precepts are correct. Okay? Bullshit. The growing industry of Christian apologetics, complete with books, lectures, debates, often prioritize financial gain, most probably, yeah, and ideological dominance over the genuine respect for the origins of the text they use. So basically saying, okay, yeah, the Old Testament is part of my New Testament, right? And you Jewish people, screw you, use the Tanakh. But they don't see that the Tanakh is the Old Testament, right? The Old Testament is a plagiarism of the Tanakh, right? Giving a couple of words here, a couple of words there, but for all intended purposes, identical, right? So you Christians, right, are thieving the Tanakh. This practice not only distorts the original Jewish belief, but also contributes to a societal division by framing an unsubstantiated belief system, Christianity in this case, as a universal truth. Right, so basically you're taking over. Right, now I just studied this, right? A broader pattern of disrespect. Yeah, this pattern of appropriation, which is a term for plagiarism, without acknowledgement, extends beyond religion. Right? Indigenous cultures, for example, have faced similar erasure. Right? Native American spiritual practices and symbols have often been commodified or reinterpreted by outsiders, stripped of the original meanings and repackaged for profit. The same principle applies. Taking from another culture or tradition without acknowledgement is an act of disrespect and erosion. Sounds familiar? Christianity. The moral failure of Christianity is equal to dishonesty. While an ideal world might encourage acknowledgement of original ownership to foster understanding, honesty, and integrity, the reality is far from its ideal. This ideal, yeah. The Christian Church, heavily invested in its institution and doctrines, is unlikely to ever admit that its foundational text, Judaism, right, or the Tanakh, reinterpreted Jewish creation. So they're not willing to say it comes from Judaism, because that means they're stealing from them. So they cannot be honest by default. Such an admission will challenge the narrative of divine continuity, right? So it cannot be said, yeah, your God is my God, so they cannot do that. And exclusivity that underpins much of Christian theology. So basically it's a lie. Christians' apologists' refusal to acknowledge the Jewish origins of their secret text isn't just a theological failure. It is a broader act of cultural and historical erasure. The erasure is the subtle word of thieving. Okay, this pattern mirrors the worst aspect of humanity, of human history, where the powerful reframes the contributions of others to suit their own agendas. Now this is the magic word here, or the magic phrase, where the powerful reframe the contributions of others to suit their own agendas. Basically it's stealing from A because me B, I want A to become B. The result is not only a lack of respect for Judaism, but a failure to foster honest interface dialogue. Well, that cannot ever happen. Right? And I'm going to make a challenge to the apologist. Yeah? So here's the challenge to Christian apologists. If your unsubstantiated belief system is as powerful and universal as you claim, why not start with the truth? Admit that Christianity is built on a reinterpretation of the Jewish text. In other words, you copied, right? And stop cloaking these borrowing layers of obfuscation. A belief system rooted in truth has nothing to fear, but because Christianity is based on Judaism, right? You know that you have to be fearful. But one built on avoidance and rebranding, plagiarism, only exposes its own fragility, especially when contrasted with the Jewish beliefs it seeks to appropriate. Now this is my conclusion personally, okay? Integrity matters for anything, right? In the end, this debate, or this talk that I've given to you, isn't just about theology. It is about respect, integrity, and honesty. Appropriation, aka plagiarism, the sacred text of another tradition without acknowledgement is not just a theological misstep, it's an ethical one. And Christians talking about ethical values. What a fucking joke. By failing to respect the Jewish origins of the foundational text, Christians' apologies contribute to a broader culture of disrespect and erosion, a theft. Me, as an atheist, I don't believe in the divine origins of any sacred text, but I do believe in respecting the cultures and histories that created them. For example, Judaism. Right? They may have picked up from other previous religions, but I'm talking about Judaism now. When we ignore the principle of ownership, whether of ideas, stories, or traditions, we not only dishonor the original creators, but also undermine our ability to build a world based on mutual respect and understanding. Okay? So the path forward demands not just actually acknowledgement, but the courage to be honest about where we have been and how we have arrived here. So basically our history. Okay, is Christianity a history of thieving from another? In my opinion, yes. Right? The evidence is there. Right? So I want to conclude here, because this is the only thing I wanted to say, that basically Christian apologists are just religious thieves. Okay? Prove me wrong. Yeah, I invite you to prove me wrong. You can't. Okay? And with that, have a nice one, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you later.